Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to Northtown News Magazine with Avi Myers.
Wouldn't this world be a better place if every single day, every single man, woman, and child on the entire face of the earth said, "Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine."
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet home Chicago. 2 is 4, 4 4 6. Come on, baby, now get your business fixed. Come on.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntmm.org, where so many of you have watched shows. All the last 7 years are available. Hundreds of thousands of you have been foolish enough to catch it. Oh, and by the way, next week, or the week after, you can catch Frank Avila from Water Wreck. And by the way, our most watched show of all time was our Day in the Deep Tunnel, which has been seen by over 100,000 people and engineering libraries all over the world. It's really cool stuff. Community Policing Caps24.org. Congratulations to, we welcome our new commander, Thomas Waldera. For those of you who would like to participate in community policing, who live in Rogers Park, West Rogers Park, and part of Edgewater, you can go to caps24.org, which is the 24th District website. And if you happen to see graffiti, you know, everybody's got one of these cell phones these days, except for me, of course. And anyway, take a picture, go to caps24.org. There's a place where you can email it. The police will see it up close. It'll tell them, number one, if it's gang graffiti, or more likely a tagger. What a tagger means is basically just somebody who's vandalizing property, who wants to share his art with you. But they'll at least be able to tell if some gang wants to move in or if somebody's just being a vandal. But either way, it's very helpful to the police, and they want to know, where it is in the whole shot. It is a pleasure to present one of my favorite guests, somebody who in a short time has made himself very popular, despite having the poor judgment to be the last person and only about a half an hour ago to follow me on Twitter. And we're talking about Shalom Klein. How you doing?
Wonderful, Avi. It's great to be back.
First of all, my pleasure. And you basically, Elliot Richardson was originally going to join you, one of my favorite people. And
I thought you said I was.
You are. I mean, listen, I said one of mine, so you're one of my favorite people.
Do you say that to everybody?
People. No.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to say that to Amy, our next guest. I can't stand. No, I do like Amy. So anyway.
Well, I'm glad to be back, and I appreciate the compliment nonetheless.
Well, by the way, it is a compliment. And what I was going to say is one of the things that you and Elliot share in common, and one of the reasons I like you guys, is basically, I mean, you took an idea that really sounded like, okay, let's have a little bit of fun in the neighborhood. And it's like, bang, just explodes. Like in Elliot's case, before we get to you, because Elliot's not here to represent himself, so I'll be his legal representative. He's a lawyer. He doesn't need me. He had an idea to do some kind of business networking thing. And the next thing you know, he's got at least 1 or 2 events a day. He's got thousands of people involved. And it went from being this little tiny thing when I first had him on to being this big explosive thing. You basically figured, okay, let's try to hook up some people about jobs and all the rest of it. And, as a matter of fact, he's been written up in Forbes not that long ago,
That's right.
Which is very cool. I do like Forbes. And, over there you were expressing, and we actually had you on the show in the early days of it. I remember when we were first talking about it, and you were like, wow, the state senator is coming, the county commissioner is coming. All these guys were latching out to you, and it just kept growing and growing. And now you together with Elliot have a large event every year.
We are. It's called the Business Event. It's really a culmination of a lot of the work that we've been doing over the past few years. As you mentioned, Elliot Richardson and the Small Business Advocacy Council started at about the same time that Jewish B2B networking began. It was about June of 2010. And now, what do you know, 3 years later, we now have thousands and thousands of people that have been affected, that have benefited from our programs. So Elliot has so many different events, has really focused on advocacy for small businesses. We focused really on empowering and connecting small business, bringing people together, because we realize that if we can help create new small businesses, support the existing small businesses in our communities, we will create jobs, we'll create a better place to live. And we really do believe that that's the case. And we've made, I think, a real impact. We've had many thousands of people that have actually come out to the events, and literally hundreds and hundreds of people that now credit their employment to either something that, an introduction that was made, one of the resources that we've offered, and there are many of them. And aside for our this event, the business event, which I guess we'll talk about more in a moment, these days we have about 3 events a week. One educational event, which is sort of new over the past few months. We now have many software training series events. So we teach how to use Word, Excel,
Cool.
PowerPoint, QuickBooks, Google Apps, WordPress, MailChimp. So all of these different things that are very, very helpful to either a small business owner or a job seeker. And then finally, we also have job programs, so teaching you how to use LinkedIn, how to write a resume. And we also have, of course, the highlight, which is really the business networking events. And this is one of the many things that we do.
Oh, and by the way, the business networking events, I should say, speaking of Amy, who we mentioned earlier, Amy, who is the executive director of the Westridge Chamber of Commerce, you've actually done
We've
events
done joint
in
events,
conjunction.
of course.
Right. Yeah, now actually we're talking about drugs before, not joint events, but joints. Never mind. Shut up, Avi. There was talk about the new legal marijuana bill in Illinois. So no, he doesn't. I don't. I'd like to. So if you've got any, no, those days are gone. Anyway.
Well, speaking about bills, so
Sure.
I think tying it right in. So about 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
Elliot and myself, we took a group of about 75 Chicago business leaders
Cool.
down to Springfield. And it was an amazing day. We filled up an entire bus, and we actually overfilled the bus, so we had a bunch of people that went down the day before.
Wow.
And we had one day of back-to-back meetings with legislators. I spent some time with Speaker Madigan. We spoke to him. While you might disagree with him on many, many issues, we talked to him about a very important bill, the LLC filing bill. Right now, to file as an LLC, if you decided to start a company tomorrow, you could choose the route of becoming a corporation or becoming an LLC. If you wanted to become an LLC, it's the highest fees in the country. It's 3 times the cost of filing as a corporation. In Illinois. And Elliot and I have partnered together on advocating for a bill that would make that filing fee similar, at least similar, perhaps exactly the same as the cost of filing as a corporation, to make that, again, a third of the price of what it is right now. We'll make a real difference to mom and pop operation that really wants to get started in business. Why should they have to choose to file in Delaware? They should be able to become the corporation type or the entity type
By the
that they
way,
want
I
to
am
become.
a Delaware corporation, just for your information.
I know many
And-
people are.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
we went down.
I've got to pay money to the state of Illinois to do business.
So we went down and we spent time
But it's
with.
less than an LLC.
That's true. We spent time speaking with folks like Speaker Madigan, with many state senators, representatives. We spent time with some of the agencies down there, the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the Illinois Department of Employment Security, and it was a really great trip. Not just because I think we accomplished a lot, but also it was a great day to spend time with each other. What other opportunity do you have to go to an event where you're not looking at your watch and you're not thinking, I have to be back in the office in a few minutes? We really had everybody, really leaders in the small business world, everybody together, and there were some great connections that were built. And this was our first time doing this in Springfield. We have brought similar groups down for 2 years to Washington, D.C.
Now, yeah, I want to talk about that in a second, but one of the things I thought about when you were mentioning Springfield, I've taken the bus ride when I was in school, I've actually taken a train ride. I used to go to the state fairs too, and driven there. When you're on the bus for a few hours together.
You get to know people really, really well. And that was a highlight. So Springfield, Washington, we did that back in February. We had a great mix of people that went with us, and we've had meetings at the highest levels. And really,
Now you're talking about the President of the United States.
We have. It's really just taking important issues that really matter here on the streets of Pratt and Devon and Dempster and wherever these small businesses might be, and giving them the opportunity to speak to our elected officials and give them the opportunity to really tell them what's on their mind. To listen is very, very important. Hear what they're working on out there, and sometimes you'll agree, sometimes you'll disagree. To speak up on perhaps giving a suggestion I really have trouble with this deduction on my tax return or something like that. And then, of course, also to have that opportunity to mingle and network amongst each other. So those are some of the things that we're involved in, aside for just the regular networking events that take place really every other day.
Yeah, and that's not even. And by the way, you're the only other Orthodox person besides for me to have been invited to the Seder in Springfield.
That's I know it's been a number of years since you've been down.
No, it's been a while since. Well, I never actually went down there because it was on the 6th day of Pesach usually. It wasn't kosher, although they did wash out of Lincoln's Punch Bowl. Oh, and a big part of the reason too is I was offered a free ride by some of the other guys going, but in a single-engine small airplane, which scared the heck out of me.
That is scary. That is scary. So now we're at the business event. It's on June 20th, 2013, from 1 to 7 p.m. at Evanston Township High School. We are partnering with the city of Evanston. We are partnering this year for the first time with the Illinois Department of Employment and Security, with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, with the Small Business Advocacy Council. And it's an all-day free business and employment expo. Great partnerships. I mean,
by the way, I'm already signed up. The minute I got my initial notice, I signed up right away.
Well, you know what? Other people should take an example from you. We're expecting 5,000 people. We want people to register early. We have workshops throughout the day on things like marketing, networking, LinkedIn, resumes, cover letters. So there's really something there for everybody, both workshops. There's a ton of networking that goes on. There's exhibitors, both small business exhibitors, and there's employers that will actually be there on the spot interviewing people that come and for open positions.
Oh, so you just reminded me. I got to reprint my business cards. Thank you.
Okay, so you had a few laying around?
Well, actually, yeah, that's all I have laying around.
Okay.
And actually, because, I don't talk about it on the air, but I actually do. I've been in the printing business. That was like an offshoot of the publishing. I get my cards for free. So I have no excuse.
Well, go for it. Print up some more business cards because you're gonna need them. There's a lot of people at this event, and great connections will be made by all. So generally at a lot of
by the way, I actually do know people that have found jobs through your events.
Oh, it absolutely does work. I only hear a few of the success stories. So generally, when you're having conversation with somebody, you tell them, please put away your cell phones. What I'm saying is, hopefully I'm having a conversation with a lot of people that are watching over here, telling you, take out your cell phone, save the date, June 20th, 2013 for the business event, register at thebusinessevent.com, and tell 10 people about it. Please invite your friends, invite anybody that might be able to benefit from the event, and make sure that they're going to be there, because really this is a grassroots effort, and that's how this happens.
And it's free. By the way, interestingly enough, I know people that have gone to your events who've met people that are in journalism that asked me to meet with them, and I've actually met with them. They wound up getting jobs. I can't say it's because of me or anything else, but it was pretty cool. But it was as a result of people going to your events and meeting them. And basically, I talked to people who were graduating college. I just gave them an idea of what they could expect, when they hit the market, and what an entry-level job is.
One of the most fascinating things that takes place is, again, as I started, I Jewish B2B, so we focused on the business community. But you say business, you deal with a lot of people looking for work. Over the past few years, I've met with something like 1,800 job seekers. And it's interesting, yesterday I had a meeting with...
You counted?
I have a database that I keep track of everybody.
Cool.
I really do keep track of, if you tell me that you were looking for a job in media or something like that, I can pull, or if you tell me that you were looking to hire somebody in media, I could pull up as many resumes that were tagged with that keyword in my system. So it's interesting. Yesterday I had a meeting with somebody who started a Russian website. And he said he's looking for fluent Russian speakers to hire. And I was able to pull up probably 5 or 6 just resumes right there, and he was not expecting that. So it is important. Come out to these events, be prepared, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know where the connections are going to lead to. So it's a lot of fun, and it's one of the many resources that we offer as an organization.
No, it's definitely very cool. And once again, that is June 20th, 2013, from 1 to 7 p.m. at Evanston Township High School, which is 1600 Dodge Avenue in Evanston. And by the way, I live right on Pratt, and you're not too far from California. So I am going to take the 93 bus, which will take me to the door.
Right over there, right?
Yeah.
And again, you can register at thebusinessevent.com. Do I have time to say one more thing about a new program that we're offering?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you still got about 3.5 minutes to go
Perfect.
for it.
Okay, so a new initiative, I'm really saying this for the first time. on the show, but there are several people in the Rogers Park community that have you ever seen the show Shark Tank?
No, but then again, that's about the last kind of show I'd want to watch.
Okay, Shark Tank. It's basically a panel of very successful business owners that meet with startups.
Yeah,
and
but I just say my idea of a reality show was watching the Bulls or the Blackhawks.
Okay, well, you're boring.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Shark Tank is a fantastic show. It's really where startup businesses or entrepreneurs come before this panel of more successful, more seasoned business owners, and they present their idea, and then that panel gives quite a bit of advice, critique, compliments, but most importantly, the advice and the mentoring to help small business owners succeed. They've been through many of the challenges of hiring their first employee, of marketing, opening a retail location, and things like that. So it's a great show. I would recommend it. But there are 3 people in the Rogers Park community that wanted to create something like that for this community, both for the Rogers Park area, for the Jewish community, and they created an initiative called Arivim. Arivim means partners, partnerships, and they have together they employ something like 10 or 15,000 people, and so they've been there, they've done that, they've gone through it, and they approached me and they said, how can we build this into what you're doing already? So we created the Arivim Entrepreneurship Program, which really allows small business owners to come before this panel. We give a completely and totally free charge. We give them the opportunity to meet with this panel to really where there are business owners that will actually hold their hand, give them mentoring, give them advice to help them succeed in business. So very proud of that new initiative.
No, that sounds cool. And by the way, one of the things I'd like to point out, not that I have anybody working for me now, I mean part-time once in a while, but not very rarely. But I used to have the way society is today, you're not going to get into that. The hardest thing for me early on was understanding how and when and why and having the guts to know when to fire somebody. And sometimes it's like, you're doing that person a favor as well as not killing yourself at the same time. But that is one of the hardest, when you were talking, I was thinking about I still remember the first guy I got rid of, but he was just a columnist, so it wasn't a full-time job. That was real easy. And it's somebody who's actually well-known now. He just wanted too much money. And but the first time I really had to fire somebody full-time, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
And all of us in business, they don't say it's building a business. That's not an unintentional term. It's hard work. It's really hard work. And a lot of people have to sort of start from scratch, and they haven't done it before. They don't know how to fire somebody, how to hire somebody. And what this initiative is really all about is every 2 weeks we meet, we get the 3 people together, and they talk. They meet with these startups and to give them advice, and so they can be asked questions exactly like that. And so hopefully we can be well known as a resource, and as a service, completely and totally free of charge. And it's just something else that we hope to offer and expand over the next few months.
No, I think that's definitely cool. And, it's funny because, I'm still thinking about firing people. Thank God I haven't had to fire anybody for a while.
Think about hiring somebody.
I'd love to hire somebody. I'd love to hire me. But, well, we're not going to get into the specifics of what I do and all the rest of it. Actually, what I've been working on more, I guess people watch me on the show. I've actually been doing a lot of writing besides for what you see on TV and actually the Jewish Chicago stuff. And actually, for me, the next chapter is writing books. So we'll see how many people I can get into trouble through it. But that'll be another show for another day. And if I actually do publish one of them, actually I'm working on somebody else's right now. But whatever, working on. Shut up, Avi. At this point, I want to thank you very much, Shalom. Anything else to plug?
Just again, our Arivim Entrepreneurship Program, great resource for startups. The business event on June 20th, 2013. Hope to see you and 10 of your contacts there. Register at thebusinessevent.com. And again, I just want to encourage everybody to be out there, meet people. It could be through the Small Business Advocacy Council, Jewish B2B Networking, the Westridge Chamber of Commerce. There's so many great resources out there. And just get out there, meet people, and go help somebody.
Sounds great to me. And stay tuned. Our next segment, Amy Zander from the Westridge Chamber. I want to thank you very much, Shalom Klein.
Thanks,
and thanks, Sonny.